Hey everybody, Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. Really excited to be here with you today. Back in OOK, OOAK. I can never get that right. I am just gonna kind of refresh the feed here. It says I'm live, that's good. And I have it set up where I should be able to see comments. I'm going to forget that my camera is here and not here where my phone is so I can see comments. So if I'm looking up at my camera because I forget and think that means I'm talking to you, I apologize. So like I said, I'm excited to be back today. I'm excited about this project. The minute I saw it in the chalk release, I knew that was what I wanted to do for this class. A couple of things before I forget, because I know I will forget. Hi Laura, hi Myrna, hi Crystal, hi Brian. Oh, Orlando, we're gonna be in Florida next week. I'm so excited. But a couple of things, because I know I'll forget as I get started talking. So I am doing a couple of giveaways. I did not get a post prepared for that in advance because it's just been that kind of week. I am giving away a kit, and then I am giving away kind of a chalk mystery kit. So it'll have a transfer, a squeegee, some paste or ink, depending on what the surface is, because I haven't quite decided yet. I have a couple of options, and then the surface. So those two giveaways. So, be active in the comments. I'll do my random, my kind of random name generator there. If I pull your name for the kit and you already bought it, I'll work with you on, we'll figure something else out. I do still have kits available. So that link is in the video description and I'll throw it up later. A couple other things that I'll talk about as I'm working, but I wanted to show you all one thing. I can get it here behind me on my handy dandy little table. I've talked in this group before about Club Couture. Hi Jody, hi Liz. And it's a monthly subscription box kit thing. Hi Dottie. Hi Mikey. I hope that's Mikey and not Mickey. I apologize. I don't know why I try to pronounce names. Hi Liz. Everybody from everywhere. It's so cool. I love seeing where people are from. And I need to move this camera so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. There we go. Y'all don't need to see me. You need to see this one. So Club Couture is a monthly subscription box. You get everything you need for a complete kit. Comes to you once a month. And as designers, we have the opportunity sometimes to get kits for the next month early. And so the February kit is going to be a phone stand. And y'all, this thing is so stinking cute. And this is one of those ones that they actually think might sell out. So you get this little wooden phone stand. Oh, great. Hi, Sandy. Oh, you're from Illinois. I'm in Illinois too. Hi, Susan. So it slides right in like that, little hole for the charger, and then you get several different kinds of designs that you can chalk on them. Chalk on the base, chalk on the stand, chalk on the front and on the back, and of course these are reusable, so you can use them for all kinds of things. This is the only club kit that I've ever heard them talk about in my almost 2 years as a designer. They think it might sell out. Now, I know they do all kinds of market research that I don't pay any attention to, so they have reason to think this might be wildly popular. But I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek at that, and then I'll do a YouTube video with this here soon. And yeah, so if you've ever considered club and like, oh, I'm not so sure, or if this is the first time you've ever heard about it, this February kit I think is going to be wildly popular, and so I wanted to make sure you all saw that. You all are the first people I'm showing this to. I haven't even put this on my Facebook group yet, or my Facebook page yet. So there's that. I think everything else I can probably talk about while I'm working, because I'm very glad to have an hour. I have like wild aspirations for this hour. So we'll see how far we get. I know, aren't the chickens just the cutest? And there's a couple of other chicken things that came out in the Creative Kickstart. And then the spring release comes out soon. I think there's more chicken stuff there. Hi Gwen and Carrie and Jennifer and Julia. It's good to see everybody. So this is our project for this month. This is the ChalkMade Lovely Hearts Kit. We accidentally keep calling it Lonely Hearts Kit. Got Sgt. Pepper playing in my head here. But it's the Lovely Hearts Kit. And so this is everything that comes with it. You get this 10 by 10 frame with hanging hardware. Yes, I know. I think that's the thing that they're expecting for that club kit, just because it's so practical. They did a cookbook stand back in November, and that was really popular. And I think that sort of has something to do with where the phone stand idea came from. Just started getting into some practical things, and not that home decor is not great. Home decor is great, but sometimes we want our home decor to have a purpose. But this frame has hanging hardware, which is something kind of new. I don't know if this is a direction that Chalk is going in. I would love it. But it just has these little hanging pieces. And it's 10 by 10, which is an unusual size for Chalk. And most of our transfers are 9 by 12 or 5 by 12, or surfaces, I mean. So 10 by 10 is sort of different, which I love. I like 10 by 10. So you get the frame, you get the transfer, which is this. It's called Floral Text Pattern. And I'm not sure, some of you all who are flower experts might be able to tell more than me. I can't tell if these are supposed to be peonies or open roses. I would think, since it's kind of Valentine's Day-y, maybe open roses, but they do kind of look like peonies to me too. So you've got that. You get your full set of instructions. You get 3 packages of air dry clay. You get the cookie cutter. And then you get some embroidery floss, as well as 2 packages of chalk ink. So the Marvelous is this pinky kind of color. Anybody who got the kit from me, you got a 3rd package of ink. I threw that in there. Yes, Dottie, I know. I love the fact that it has hangers on it. Hi, Leanne. I threw a 3rd package of paste in there. So if you order the kit after today, I'll throw a 3rd package in there. So the Marvelous is what's on the back, and I just painted that. Just sort of fussy painted it. As you'll see, it doesn't go all the way out to the edges. And then the Shimmer Gold is what I used to chalk the design. So I'm going to hold this up. Oh, cabbage roses. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you can see, because that Shimmer Gold, I can see it really well, but you can't always see it really well in the camera, in the video. And then I have 3 hearts from the air dry clay, and you can mix the colors together to get this kind of marbling effect. And then I used just some red and white twine that I had around this one, and then popped some buttons on the centers of this one, which is kind of cool because the glue popped out. You can't really tell, but the glue popped out of the holes in the buttons, so it's raised and you can see it, so it gives it a little bit of dimension. This is all I've done with this one so far, because I think I want to put some words on it, and I can't decide if I have a couple of chalk transfers with some words on it that I want to use, or if I want to do something in vinyl, or a little bit of both. So that's all I've done with this one. But now we're going to create one so you all can see it in its entirety a little bit. I did a little bit of pre-work. And one of the things I like, and I'm having a lot of fun with this, is the ability to do a project in a different way that gives it a completely different look. And so we're going to go with something that's a completely different look here. So I painted this earlier. This is just black acrylic paint. Again, I liked fussy paint because I don't like having to, trim stuff out and make sure that it gets right all the way up to the edges. And we're going to put the transfer on, the design on, using one of my favorite chalk colors, which was a color of the month last year. I really would love it if they would bring it into the permanent collection, but it's called Bite Me. And it is a shimmery red. You can see it here in the lid a little bit better than you can see it in the jar. And so that's what we're gonna use to put the transfer on. Now, typically, if I had been thinking last night, I would have done this. And if you've watched me before, you've heard me say this. If you're going to chalk on top of paint or chalk paste, I highly recommend that you give it like 24 hours to dry, if you can. We don't always have that luxury. If you do not have that much time, then you're going to want to make sure that you fuzz the heck out of the transfer so that it does not pull up any of your paste or background paint when you lift it. Now, I've already used this one once, so that helps. We're going to put it down on the fuzzing cloth. Isn't it? No, Marna, I agree with you. This transfer is just gorgeous. I have so many ideas in my head for ways to use it. You do not have to have a fuzzing cloth. They're very nice to have because they have a terry cloth side that you can use to dry things. But you can use a microfiber cloth or anything that's not going to leave fibers on the back of your transfer will work. I'm going to do this probably a dozen times just because we're working on top of paint that has really only been dry for about 30 minutes. Y'all, I have to tell you, it was funny because I've been watching all day and, painting this and prepping and everything. And, I'm sitting here at like 12:20 watching Brian and Carol and, getting all into this postage stamp thing. And all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I don't have my tools out. I don't have my fuzzing cloth out. I don't have paste out for something else I'm hoping we might have time to do. Like, uh-oh. Running around my room trying to grab everything. I got distracted. And I didn't make sure I had everything before I sat down. It's also very dry in my room, so the transfer's sticking to me. I'm going to do this one more time. And I'm going to set this aside. And we're going to bring this back over. I opened the jar over the top of the surface, and the dried out pieces from the jar are now sitting on my black paint. Now, the transfer is actually the size of the frame in its entirety, so it doesn't fit inside the frame, which is really, it's fine. It's not a problem. You can bend it down. You could also offset it if you want. So you could come in here, line it up on one corner, and then you would have a little bit of an offset design. So it's just sort of personal preference there. So we're just going to line it up, and I'm just going to push it down a little bit. You're not going to hurt your transfer doing this. Inside the frame. And that's just to make sure that it's completely adhered and so that I don't get any bubbles. Hi, Cindy. I was having fun, Marna. I was absolutely having fun. Just watch it along. Make sure I don't get any bubbles. Then we're going to take my paste and I'm going to stir it up a little bit. I know I have another jar of this colors of the month that come out that I really, really like. I try to buy more than one jar. We've had a few that have come back into the permanent collection, like Nominee, which is a metallic gold, but only a couple in my 2 years, so kind of try to hold on to them. This is the February color of the month. It's called Good Luck Charlie. It's kind of a shimmery teal, blue, green kind of color. Or not February, this is January. So this, I think, is still available. The last time I placed an order, which was a couple of days ago, I was still able to add it into my cart. I'm going to check the things off my list to make sure that I talk about everything. Talked about giveaways. Okay, good. I have to make a list, otherwise I forget. Okay, so we're just going to take my squeegee and I'm going to start in the middle and just work my way across. So Chalk is having a winter sale right now that runs through the end of the month. There's about 90 products that are on sale, surfaces, transfers, so if you go to chalkcouture.com/Girl Friday Crafts and go to specials, that will bring up everything that's on sale. Also through the end of the month, Chalk Couture has a philanthropy partner. It's called Watts of Love. They provide solar powered lights to low income areas all over the world. The Chalk relationship is actually Malawi in Africa. However, right now, Watts of Love donations are roundup donations are being sent to LA to help with individuals impacted by the wildfires. I know we had somebody watching today who had mentioned in the comments that she lost everything in the fire. So like Brian said, we're very glad that you're here, not just here today, but here. And if you place a Chalk order through the end of the month, you always have an opportunity to round up for Watts of Love, and all of those donations will be matched by Chalk and are going to LA. And they've done that a couple of times where we've redirected. They redirected to Florida and North Carolina. Watts of Love was actually on the ground in both locations providing solar powered lights to families. And it's a very cool organization. And we have designers that go on trips every year to Malawi, actually meet some of the families that are recipients of the lights and things like that. Really very cool. And actually one of the designers on my team, not my team like I'm the head of the team, but the team that I'm on, Melanie Cromer, MC Creations, she actually won an award yesterday at our leadership conference for the highest donations to Watts of Love of any designer, which was just amazing. So we're going to peel this up real slow so that it doesn't bring up any of my paint. Drop this in my water bath over here. And now my fingers are all wet. So, just to kind of illustrate the point, right? I'm going to bring these two side by side, and just the decision to use a different color scheme makes this look like a completely different project. And so I think that's fun. Yeah, Cindy, I agree. Like, I round up my orders. And you can also just, in general, usually just do a donation. You don't have to even place an order to do that. But I round up my orders. And I like, sometimes when they're doing something like this, I'll place an order just to be able to round up an order and make that donation. 'Cause it's, it's a way to be of service when you can't physically be of service to people that are being impacted by this. So we're going to set this aside while I work on the hearts with the clay. And so this is air dry clay that came with the kits, and this is one I've already opened, but it still feels pretty okay. If you keep it in these little bags, it actually stays pretty pliable for quite a while. And I'm just going to use the red. Ooh, actually, you know what? No. Change my mind. I'm going to use this light pink. So I want some real contrast. I wanted it to blend, and then I decided I wanted some contrast. So I'm going to pull this out. You have quite a bit. There's definitely enough in here to make the 9 hearts as intended, but I think you have more than that. I don't know why I put these rings on. Sorry, hold on. I don't want to be rolling air dry clay around, getting on my rings. So you're just going to roll this together in a little ball. You can put multiple colors together to make a, like I said, make a marbling effect. The directions will tell you to, roll it out with a rolling pin, which I did not have when I did the first kit. So I just pushed it down with the heel of my hand, and that got them thin enough. But I have this now. I bought a bunch of polymer clay stuff on sale at Michael's, on clearance at Michael's, because I want to start playing around with polymer clay earrings. And so I bought that little toolkit that just happened to have a little rolling pin in it. So, but if you don't have a craft rolling pin or a rolling pin that you want to use for this, the heel of your hand really will do the trick. So we're going to roll this out. And you can make these as thin or as thick as you want. And if you have other, colors of air dry clay that you want to pop in there, you can do that. I'm rolling them out too flat. Okay, dropped a little bit more in there. Just gonna stick it in there. And turn it over on the side. There we go. We're just gonna get our heart. And make a couple more. I'm gonna go ahead and take quite a bit of this so I can cut them at the same time. So this was my first time playing with air dry clay. Hi Sheila and Joan, thanks for watching. Except for probably, I don't know, grade school, kindergarten. Haven't really played with clay in a long time, but I'm kind of digging it. Roll these out. I'm gonna go this way so it rolls a little bit wider. There we go. And now the fun thing is you have this little heart-shaped cookie cutter that you can use for whatever you want, including cookies. I'm just going to do one more. And if you had white clay, obviously that would be super fun to use. Really good contrast. Or you could, mix it together and marble it. Ooh, I'd rolled that out too thin. I'm much better at rolling dough for cookies. Okay, let's not go so thin this time. There we go. That should work. Now you do have to let these dry before you put them on the, okay, oh sweet, I'm gonna have time, yay. Before you put them on, before you glue them down. And so what you want to do is, flip that one over. You're just going to take a toothpick and you're going to poke a couple holes, just 2 holes in the center, That will actually help them dry. And then you can take, once they're dry, you can take the embroidery floss that came with it, or any kind of twine or anything like that, and wrap around them. You could take raffia and wrap around them, or kind of like I did on this one. I just dropped a couple of buttons on the center, or I actually have, oh, that's what I was going to do with this one. I had an idea earlier and I completely forgot. I have these little wooden hearts that are smaller than these that I could, paint red or black or anything like that, and like glue down on these hearts when they're dry. Do I have those handy? I don't think I have those handy. I think those are in the other room. And then obviously you don't even have to use the hearts, right? You could take this and add any other kind of embellishment or design that you wanted. Hey, Karen. And you could put words on top of it. You could take a piece of scrapbook paper with a design on it and put it in the center and add to that, and then add all kinds of layers. I know, I love that transfer too. And so actually Karen made me remember, so I'm not going to show it because it's not everybody's cup of tea. Cup of tea. I just made a joke that I didn't mean to make. So some of you saw my post about the Chalk After Dark line that has come out. It's a new thing they're trying. It's 6 transfers, 3 B size, 3 A size, that are a little on the sassy, sarcastic, snarky, mildly inappropriate side. And I was talking with another designer, the designer who did the hearts that went off, like made look like a floral bouquet, which we're actually going to try here in a second. Was asking her if I could use her picture in the group, and she said sure. And we were talking about Chalk After Dark and how do we market it and all that, and we were just kind of going back and forth. And I was talking to her about doing this class, and one of the Chalk After Dark transfers is a teacup that's all nice and pretty and floral, has a very Bridgerton vibe to it. And immediately in my head, I went to this transfer with that that on top of it. It has a little bit of a snarky phrase. And I was like, oh, that's going to be so perfect. Because it's just that contrast between something that looks so quaint and pretty, and then has this sort of snarky message to it. I just think it's going to be really funny, and that's totally on brand for me. It's not on brand for everybody, and it's definitely not something that everybody's going to want, but a lot of designers are happy about it. We've been asking about it for a while. You do have to go to a special link to get there. If anybody has ever looked at Build-A-Bear After Dark, it's kind of akin to how that's set up. It's a special link. You have to click a couple things acknowledging that you're, going into some more adult content territory. It's really nothing vulgar or anything like that, just a little bit of snark. So that's what that one looks like. And this is dry enough that I can just set the hearts on top of it so y'all can see what it'll look like when it's done. So, you have these 3, and you have this nice contrast between the red and the pink. And then you can kind of decide how you want to decorate the hearts. So we're going to let those hearts dry. And I'm going to set this one aside because now I am going to attempt, Karen, to recreate a Michelle Enriquez design. which is the first time I've ever tried to do that. So we're gonna see. I've got time. So I'm gonna pull out another kit, and this again is just one of those things to kind of spark some ideas for people. Because one of the things for me that I'm trying to force myself out of the box on this year is, my first year or so as a chalk designer, most of my stuff was just sort of not basic, but simple, but kind of as intended. So I didn't mix transfers. I didn't add a lot of embellishments to things. I have all these packages of air dry clay here. But as I'm going, doing this longer and growing a little bit and all that, I'm wanting to obviously do that a little bit differently. And so, I look at other designers' stuff and I'm like, ooh, I want to try to do that, or I want to do that, but with this little variation, but all about, adding fabric and adding paper and adding embellishments and all that. And so this little, copying a little bit of what Michelle did with her blessing, goes in alignment with that. So I'm not going to paint the back of this one. I'm not going to paint the back of this one. Sorry, I had to think about that. I was getting my vision of it in my head. So we're going to leave the back of the frame the way it is. And I'm going to open up another transfer because my other one is sitting in my water. If I had thought about it, I would have made sure that I had space to just wash it down here, but I didn't think about that. Open this up. Hi, Penny. All right, what's the weather like where everybody is today? Because we're getting a heat wave here in Illinois. It's like 40 degrees. I'm going to go out after this and take down the Christmas decorations that are still outside that I haven't been able to get to because we've been buried under about 13 inches of snow for a couple of weeks now because it snowed and then the temperatures dropped ridiculously and it's all just been sitting. Hi, Jean. Oh, that's great. I love it. I love that. So, I might actually, I can't say the word. I have to spell it because if he hears me, even though my door's closed, they have radar hearing, might take the dog for a WALK because that's also been something that hasn't happened in weeks. Because it's just been too cold and the sidewalks have been snow and ice covered. Jean, cool but beautiful. It's sunny. Yeah, it's sunny here too. Cold in Virginia, still have ice and snow in the shady spots. We do still have snow on the ground. And I'm honestly not sure how long it's going to take for all of that to melt. Because it's going to be 40 today, but I think it still drops down back into the 30s for a few days. 36 degrees in Milwaukee. Yep. Y'all, snow in New Orleans. Snow in New Orleans. Snow in New Orleans a couple of days ago. That's just kind of unheard of. And I mean, it snowed. Like, it wasn't like just flurries. Like, there was like visible snow on the ground. I mean, we're used to that here, and I grew up in Kentucky, so I'm used to it. Hi, Sue. But, actually, it's funny. I have a friend who moved from the Chicago area down to a more southern state. She's like, these people don't know how to deal with snow. I'm like, no, they don't. They really don't, because they're not used to it. You're used to it. All right, we're gonna push this down. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do this in a kind of a neutral color. Actually, I'm gonna grab a different color. I want this to be very light. Still have snow and yarn in Tallahassee. Oh my goodness. 63 in Northeast Orlando. We are going to the Keys next week, and it's supposed to be 70 the whole time. I'm so excited. Like, I won't, my husband and son will be walking around in shorts. I won't, but I'll be walking around in capri pants and short sleeves, I'm quite sure. Snow in Tallahassee, that is wild. So I'm going to use a very light color of this on this so that this design is there, but just kind of faint. Just want a touch of it. Find a squeegee. I'm going to use a bigger one here just because make sure this goes all the way down. And then we are going to use another transfer. It's called Mason Jar Cotton. And we're going to create some just stems with that. We're not going to put the cotton on here, just the stems of it. We're going to use that as kind of a base to add some heart-shaped flowers as well as some silk flowers. And I've got a little Spanish moss. We're gonna kind of create some 3D. Thank you, Myrna. It is our son's 21st birthday. And so it's going to be a super quick trip. My husband and I were there in 2023. That's where we went for my 50th birthday, and we spent about 2 weeks down there. We gave him the choice of New Orleans or the Keys, and there is a sea turtle hospital in Marathon, and he really wanted to go to the sea turtle hospital, so that is where he chose. So I am super excited about getting to go back and be in some warm weather for a few days. And go back. I really liked the Keys. That was our first time ever being down there. It's definitely does not feel like you're in Florida. It's just such a different ecosystem. The landscape's different. Like, we've vacationed in Florida for 20 years. It was just very different. Like, if you had just dropped me down there and told me I was not in Florida, I probably would have believed you. Okay, so we're going to pull this up. And, you know, again, like, compare this to the other two. Not painting the background, just leaving it white. I'm going to have transfers sticking to each other. Should have brought a bigger container of water down here. Again, just kind of side by side, right? Like such completely different projects depending on what you're doing. Okay, watching my time. Give me 1 second. I need to pour some water into this container because I've got part of my transfer sticking up. I know you all can't see it. I've got water over here. But I've got part of the transfer sticking up out of the water, and that's not good because that will cause the paint to dry. We've got just that, and I mean that in and of itself is just beautiful. And very different than what the other two look like. So I'm going to dry this real quick. stuff does not take long to dry. Ooh. Okay, maybe needs a little bit longer. Hi, Rhonda. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to take this. So this is the mason jar cotton transfer. This came out last year. And I'm going to take this part. I've already used it, so it's cut apart. And sticking back together. Take this part off. And we're going to fuzz this just a little bit. And we're going to put this down in a couple of different places, and we are going to just chalk some of the stems in moss. And you could use any, shade of green. We've got moss, we've got meadow, we've got pesto, as well as some like really vibrant greens depending on the look that you were going for. I'm going to keep this a little bit more on the neutral side. And we do have transfer tape that you could use to mask off, any areas that you did not want to chalk. I'm gonna trust myself here. But I mean, I'm covering some of this with the hearts and with florals, so if I get a little bit of moss where I don't want it, I can cover that up. And grab a squeegee. And I'm going to try not to get any of the even like, I don't even know what to call it. There's the part of the cotton where the cotton sits in. Try not to get any of that. It's like part of the stem, but not really, but not also part of the cotton either. But again, that's what the transfer tape can help with. And you can actually use painter's tape as well to mask if you need to. Now I should be able to pull this up real careful. I should be able to set this down at least one more time. I'm going to do this and get some more on here without having to clean the transfer. I can get 2, maybe 3 if I'm fast. And I'm going to push it down with a paper towel just so I don't get paste all over my fingers, to make sure that it's on there right and I don't get any bubbles. And I think I just got some green where I didn't want it. Okay, watching my time here. up here where the cotton buds start is the hardest part. Down here where it's just stem is not particularly challenging. Okay. Now I think I have one ooh, that green all over my finger. Don't know how I did that. That would have been bad. I would have been really, I second guessed myself when I put this shirt on today. Like, if you get something on this shirt, you're gonna be mad. I usually try not to chalk in shirts that I care much about. Not that I couldn't remake this one, but alright, I'm going to put this down on a backer sheet and set it aside, because if I need to clean it and use it again, I can. I think you can do that with microfiber cloths. Thanks, Misty. So this came from ChalkCon last year, which is the Chalk Couture conference, had a Saturday Night Live theme, and so we all got these shirts and the transfer to make the shirt with some of like the swag that we bought. So it was calling to me today, but I thought about it. I was like, oh man, you're gonna fling paste or something and get that on there. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this mason jar cotton down in the water too, because what I'm going to do is, this will be something I finish up later, but whatever space is left over here, once we add florals, I'm going to find a phrase or something like that to put on there. So that'll work perfect. Alright, so we're going to pick the floral parts first, because they're going to take up the most space. And then you can kind of add your hearts accordingly. So I've got a couple of different things here to try to figure out what I want to use. I actually have some rose pieces. I have these, this is, what's this called? Oh, just flowers and greenery. So these are Chalk Couture products. They're little felt flowers, which I thought would be kind of fun, because they're nice. They take up a lot of space, right? And they kind of lay flat. But then there's also just these little white pieces that would be nice contrast if we're using the pink hearts. And then there's some greenery that you can put on there. Turn my glue gun on. So we could throw a little bit of, just kind of extra greenery to take this all the way up to the top. And you could cover that up with a floral. And we've got this little piece, which is really kind of cute. So you have, it's really kind of personal preference, whatever floats your boat. And then, like I said, I've got some Spanish moss here, and then I've got some of these little Gerber daisies, which are some of my favorites, which would be really cute. But I think we're going to go with the chalk felt pieces, just to stay on brand. Not that there's anything wrong with mixing it all together, because that's what makes it fun. Let's see here. So I'm going to start with putting, and I have several sets of these, so I can mix it up a little bit if I need to. Where am I? Well, somewhere I have a pair of tin snips. There they are. They got buried. So this has a little attachment piece on the bottom, like if you stick it in a whole arrangement. So I'm going to cut that part off. Just very carefully. It's all fun and games until somebody goes to the emergency room. Last weekend, holiday weekend, my husband made his very first loaf of sourdough bread, kind of inspired by a woman that he works with. And he was scoring it. You score it with, professional grade razor blades. I'm like standing there watching him like, I really don't want to do an emergency room visit, but he feels the same way when he sees me bust out an X-Acto knife, so, I guess it's only fair, but, so, just so you guys know, like, for, reference, these are not yet completely dry. Now, they're probably dry enough, to be able to adhere to something, like, they're not tacky anymore, but you could still kind of squish it. You could still like leave a thumbprint in it. So they do take a little bit of effort to dry. Why is my glue gun not heating up? Come on. Okay, so we're gonna lay this out while the gun heats up. We'll probably put that piece down there. And then just for visualization, because I might actually make some red hearts for this one, or some multicolor, but just to think about where we want hearts versus flowers. And put a little heart underneath there. And we could actually take a little heart and put it on top, like right there, and it would lay on top of the greenery. And we could do another one like that, and we could use one of these little gray pieces right there. Swap that out, kind of see what that looks like, or we could do that right there. Yeah, I don't like that. Put that there. Ooh, hold on. I have an idea. Can create all kinds of different dimension here. I have these pressed flowers. So I bought these for actually all kinds of things, but predominantly for junk journaling, although now that we have resin kits, I've been playing around with that. Ooh, I have 6 minutes left. Okay. So this is not going to get finished. I think we'll map it out in terms of just visualization. Again, just to give you all some ideas. But depending on what kinds of florals you have, you can do all kinds of layering and create all kinds of dimension. Because I've got the hearts, we've got the felt florals that really sort of pop up, and then I've got these pressed flowers that are going to lay flat. but just add another layer. So I'm going to put a little one right there. Actually, I wonder what this would look like if I just did these and not. Oh, that's really pretty. Ooh, I wonder. So we could cut the leaves off of these and just add the leaves to the stems independent of anything else. Not use the stem itself. And then layer some of these pressed flowers kind of on top. Ooh, I'm liking that idea. And then I think what I would want in here are hearts made from like these two colors, so that we have some deeper, darker contrast. And then we could even just throw like one of these felt flowers in there, maybe one on each side, and like put a heart there and there. And then you could add some Spanish moss. You could also, see, here I get going. You could also tie a ribbon, or tie some ribbon or some twine so that it looks like it's tied around the base of the flowers. So, you know, a little bit here and let it hang down, a little bit here and let it hang down, to make it look like they're tied together as a, you know, bunched. So that's, you know, just so many things that you could do with this. And I'm going to go ahead, and my glue gun is heated up. I'm going to pull these pressed flowers off. And I have, play around with this because I have several sets of these pressed flowers all in different color schemes. So I've got blues, I've got, you know, just black and white. I've got some that are more purple. So I might settle on what I want to use of these before I decide what color I want the hearts to be. Because if I go darker on the pressed flowers and use more of the purples, or even bring in some like black and white, then those pink flowers might actually provide the right kind of contrast. Okay, so my glue gun is hot now. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down these felt ones so that I can work around. The one thing that I have learned with mixed media is that whatever the largest piece of anything you're using is, you want to decide where you're going to put that first. Even if you don't put it down first because you want to work around it, decide where it's going to go first. Because if you fill your space with like all of your little pieces and haven't figured out where your big pieces are going to go, sometimes you don't end up with room for the big pieces. And then I can come up here, you know, with that leaf right there. I am going to go ahead and put these down because I can fill in around them with the leaves. So if you all are not on Chalk Couture Design Studio, even if you're not currently a customer, I highly recommend that you follow that page. It'll ask you who your designer is. If you don't have a designer, yes, it is a great idea for a card in a smaller scale. Myrna, you just gave me another idea. It's going to ask you who your designer is. You can put my name in there and just put Whitney Walsh in there. But it's a great way to get some inspiration for chalk, but also like other ideas. And so I will share all of these out in the group when I get them finished. And I am over time now, so I'm going to let you all go. It was very, very good to see you all today, to talk with you all today. I will post prize winners later, and I will see you all the next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.